Hey guys, we're going to talk about how you can choose games that I play and stuff like that in a brief moment. I just want to do a quick update on the channel really quick. First of all, sorry if you have like a favorite show that hasn't had episodes in a few days or something like that. Things got a little chaotic. First of all, like one of the things about being a YouTuber for game stuff is that you just you gotta hop on stuff right when it comes out. There's a lot of timing involved, and I just got bad luck a little bit. Basically, Talos Principle's DLC came out, and that's a big deal for me because Talos Principle is one of the most liked and popular shows I've done so far that you guys are really enthusiastic about. That isn't a Dark Souls game. Like, that's like top of the line along with like Legend of Grimrock and stuff like that. So obviously DLC comes out for that game. I'm gonna play it. But also I got 3 press codes, like free codes from developers for Feist, for Kin, and for Cradle, and they all came out around the same time. I think, if I remember correctly, Feist came out the same day as the Talos Principle DLC on Thursday. I think Cradle came out on Friday, and Kin doesn't actually come out Kin doesn't actually come out until Tuesday. So of course I'm like, this game's not even out yet. This is my chance. So I'm basically spending a bunch of the weekend burning through some of this stuff. My plan, like, I should have Cradle and Feist completely done before the weekend's even over, at least on my side of things. I don't know about the upload schedule. And the Talos Principles DLC is also relatively short because it's like just those 4 worlds, and I've already done one of them, so that's not going to be too big of a deal. Kin will probably be around for a while, but I want to get a head start at the very least. But Witcher will return shortly, Dungeoneering, Batman, Devil May Cry, and so on. It might be a little sporadic. Like, once I get back to Devil May Cry, I'm probably just going to burn through the rest of the campaign for Dante and Nero and just get through it real quick, and then put those up, and I'll probably, like, hold off on Batman. Yeah, I think I'm just going to prioritize a little bit, basically. So I'm going to basically finish Devil May Cry real quick, then get back to Batman. I'm gonna finish Scholar of the First Sin really quick, and then get back to Bloodborne, because like I have a few things stacked up a little bit too much, so I'm gonna prioritize the ones that you guys are most enthusiastic about, and that I'm closest to finishing, because like we're like 5 episodes probably from finishing Devil May Cry, and I have 2 DLC packs to do in Scholar of the First Sin. I did the last one in like a 2-hour stream, so the snow one might give me trouble because of the damn reindeer, but I'm close to finishing that one, and that'll clear my plate off a little bit. Witcher should return to daily videos shortly. It'll all happen. Just trust my usual promise of that that I basically finish almost everything I started on this channel. But anyway, oh yeah, also, by the way, thank you guys for your support. 5,000 subscribers, major milestone. I'm pretty psyched about that. This is where some channels hit a tipping point and things just start snowballing, and I'd love for that to happen for sure. The support I've gotten so far is mind-blowing to me, because right now, like, I'm not making enough money from the channel to make a full-time job out of it. Like, that's the living wage thing isn't happening yet, but the fact, like, I'm sitting here like calculating, like, okay, if I moved here, rent would be this much a month, and if I calculate that out, okay, utilities costs, food costs, like, the numbers don't match up, but the fact that I'm even comparing them in the first place and doing this math really shows how far we've come, that it's come from being a completely impossible concept to be like, like, with time, we could actually, there's ways that we could figure this out, and that'd be great for me, because, like, I don't mind doing this as a side thing, but it'd be great to do as my main job, just because then I could not be working 2 jobs, because I wouldn't call this entirely, like, it doesn't feel like work entirely, which is probably the best part about it, but the time commitment and the being committed to all these things, that's definitely, like, that's the part that feels like working 2 jobs. It's just that, like, all my time's accounted for, but I'm psyched about it. So let's talk about Patreon real quick. First of all, there's the existing tier, the thing that you guys already know about, where you can vote on games that I will play. We'll talk about that first, but a little teaser, I'm also adding a thing where you can single-handedly make me play a game. But we'll talk about that one later, because that's more of a one-on-one thing, and this is a more democratic thing that's going to involve more people. So, what happened is that with recent pledges, we broke the milestone of $100 a month. And so, that means we're going to have the goal fulfilled now, where I'm going to play games that are voted on by Patreon users. So I want to detail how this is going to work. First of all, it doesn't start until the month starts, at the beginning of the month is when Patreon charges people, and that's when the money comes in and everything. I have to wait until then because unfortunately Patreon is known for really extensive fraud from the community, where, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to accuse anyone individually or anything. I just need to be careful and make sure that I'm not being taken advantage of. So once your information goes through and your card is actually charged at the beginning of the month, then it's like, okay, they're not doing anything devious here. And then for that 30-day period after that, you are considered a Patreon supporter, and that'll be a recurring thing where if you continue to support me every month, then that status will continue every month. And once you have that status, you get to vote on games. The way that's going to work is at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of August here, when you guys get charged, I'm going to contact all of you via email, and I'm going to ask you all for suggestions. You're all going to be able to suggest one game for me to play as a series, and it can be anything, really. And then what I'm going to do after that, I'll probably set some arbitrary time, like, you have 2 days to respond, or 3 days to respond. Once I get all your guys' feedback about what games you want to play, I will then send another email out to you guys with, like, here's the list of what everyone suggested. I'm not going to list who suggested what or anything, it's just going to be the list of games. And then you can vote each one up or down. Basically, you're going to say yes or no to each one, and that'll be counting as your vote. And basically, the game that you guys collectively want me to play the most is the one that I will play. I think my current plan here is basically I will play the game to completion, or if it takes more than a month to play through, what I might do, if it's close to finishing or reasonably, like, just a little bit more longer, I'll beat it, and then I'll take another vote after the game's completed. If it looks like it's an absolutely massive game, like you guys ask me to play something that could take hundreds of episodes, then what I'll probably do is once a month I'll be like, alright, here's a little check-in vote. I'll contact all the Patreon supporters and I'll ask you, do you want me to continue this series or do you want to vote for a new game, is how I'll handle that. But basically, anyone who donates $1 or more on my Patreon per month can vote for what games I play, and you all collectively get to vote on that. It'll start out as emails. I'll probably come up with a better organized way of handling it as the volume increases, because like there's ways of polling people more securely and more efficiently than my first system is. But that's what I'm going to handle for now. So if you have not supported me yet and you want to get in on this, you still have time. Last time that people got charged, I think, was July 2nd or something like that. It's like right at the beginning of the month, so you still have like a few days if you want to join in and you want to be able to influence what the Patreon game is on my channel. And that'll be a regular series. It'll be like one of these other shows I do. It'll probably be one of those shows that happens like every other day or something. My bare minimum promise is that I will have I will have at least an hour of content for that game every week, but probably more. So be sure to get in on that if you want to be able to control what I play. Just to reiterate, I am not trying to put any content behind a paywall. I'm adding Patreon and I'm using it as a way to support myself, and I'm experimenting with ways to interact with this and find perks that you guys want and to have it all work out. But my goal is to not have actual content that's exclusive to Patreon. At least, like, that's not something I want to deal with, really. I mean, frankly, I don't think I could create content for Patreon independently and for YouTube. Frankly, I don't have the time for that anyway. But basically, Patreon's going to be like different ways of acknowledging people and different ways of letting them influence like individual shows on the channel and stuff like that. But the content itself will still be free and available to everyone. Now let's talk about the new thing. So a friend of mine just started their own Patreon account, and they created a tier called Sponsor a Video, where you could just straight up donate this amount per month, and then that month you get to basically sponsor a video. The way this works, and I decided to co-opt this on his suggestion, is in my case, if you donate $25 a month, and by the way, I didn't just arbitrarily come up with this number, or like, I'm not trying to gouge people here. There's literally 3 people that are pledging $25 a month right now, so I'm like, alright, well, these people are crazy. Let's create a reward tier around this tier of crazy people. So those people, I created this tier around the people that are already pledging this amount, basically. But you're welcome to join them if you're also crazy. The way this is going to work is once a month, and that's just like the previous thing, it's once you get charged in the 30-day period following that is when this happens. I will contact you about what game you want me to play. I'll give you like a huge list of like all the games I have access to already, but you could also potentially suggest something that I don't have access to if I can reasonably acquire it. For example, it shouldn't cost more than the pledge in the first place, because that's kind of awkward. And what I'll do is, no matter what the game is, basically, with minor exceptions, it can't be a music game with licensed music, because you can't really do those on YouTube, and it can't be like something really explicit that I can't reasonably censor to make YouTube safe, like sex games, basically. There's some boundaries there, but whatever, aside from that, whatever game you suggest, not even suggest, that you mandate, I will play, and I will make a video that is at least 1 hour long during that 30-day period. And if you continue to donate every month, then that means you get to sponsor another video every month. And so I will play the game you choose, and you will get credited in the video as the sole sponsor of that video. And this is for crazy people, and hey, it could lead to some fun stuff where you guys, this minority of people demands I play the weirdest games, and then my normal audience gets to just enjoy the fact that this weird thing happened. So I don't think this hopefully doesn't piss anyone off. I know some people have really negative responses to Patreon and everything, but I'm honestly just supporting myself here because I do work a job and I am living in poverty, basically. Like I eat a lot of freezer food that you get in bulk. It's interesting. There's numbers that have to be made to work. So this is exciting. So yeah, we have 2 tiers of ways that you can choose what I play. There's the democratic thing where all Patreon supporters, big and small, all get to vote once a month on what game I'm playing, and it swaps out whenever we finish that game depending on how long they are and stuff like that. And the second tier is when you donate $25 a month, you then get to say, hey, you play this game once a month for an hour. It could even be this. You could even, if you're demented enough, you could make it a series and demand the same game every month, and just once a month there's an hour-long episode of this weird thing you demand. It's all up to you. And I'm going to extend this to people, if you already are paying $25 a month, which this actually applies to exclusively one person. I'm going to honor this as if this tier already existed. So basically Jesse Miller / Seth Canes, which slightly confusing, those both sound like names, but I can't complain because I also sound like 2 names. You, as the one person who donated $25 a month before this, like in July already, you get to pick a game for me to play for an hour. So I'll talk to you about that. But the other people that pledge $25, once your payments come through at the beginning of the month, and of course Jesse Miller, Seth Canes again next month, you 3 will all get to pick a game for me to play for an hour. And no promises about when it'll happen, but it'll just be some time during that 30-day period when I find the time for it. And if people keep piling on, we're gonna have an interesting time. But like usual, I'll keep playing my RPGs and my strategy indie games, maintain my general theme of action games and RPGs and things that probably involve swords and stat points is like my vaguest amount of detail there. And I'll keep finishing games, and I'll keep doing what I do. There's just new varieties and new interesting ways of handling with this. So guys, thanks like always for your support. This is all really exciting to me, and I'm really interested in seeing what weird direction this might go in. I'll see you guys next time.